Thank you for listening to Pow Block Podcast, the flagship Nintendo podcast of Boss Rush Network. Do you need even more gaming and entertainment in your life? Head over to bossrush.net where you can find news, reviews, creators, podcasts, and more focused around the content you enjoy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Pow Block here on Boss Rush Games. I'm your host, the one, the only, Eddie V, the enlightened, excited one. Joining me is the Eddie Insider himself, Mr. Dan Murphy.
Hey Ed, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Dan. You know,
Good.
see, you got to watch some good football yesterday. You see,
Oh, what a
people
weekend for football.
Oh, people were invested, and I'm so happy. But also, we got the gallivanting Gallatrat himself, Mr. Jacob Taylor.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, how are you guys? I miss you all.
Hey, it hasn't been too long, Ed, but I missed you too.
How was everybody's weekend? I'm gonna start with Jacob. Jacob, how was your weekend? Because you showed us a picture that you got some things on some shelves.
I did. So I've set up a little spot that I'm hopefully going to be using to record some stuff, which is behind me. This is a green screen. Those of you watching, it's very obvious. It's not lit up very well right now. But so I spent Sunday doing that. My weekend though, felt very long. Did y'all's weekend feel like it felt longer than normal, Saturday and Sunday? And when Saturday was coming to like an end, I was like, oh man, I gotta go back to work tomorrow, thinking Sunday had already come.
I've never had that problem in my life.
I wish I could say the same. It's very weird. And then I woke up late to my whole like frame of mind around time is messed up right now. Very weird.
That's hilarious.
I have had that. It feels long when I am off that weekend and I don't go nowhere. It just feels like it's dragging long. And even though I should be playing games and I should be interacting or be like, I'm off of work. When I stay home and don't do nothing, it literally feels long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dan, your weekend, break it down for us.
I mean, mine wasn't really that exciting. I had a pretty busy work trip. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I got back and kind of like vegged out on Saturday, and Sunday we went to some friend's house and just like ate cheese and drank wine, and then watched football. Like that's pretty much it. Playoffs have two more. We got 3 games left for football, so I'm a little bit sad. But yeah, not too much for me.
Is the Super Bowl late this year?
Yeah, the NFL season extended their season by 1 week. So it's a week later than usual this year.
Okay. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it being held this time?
Los Angeles.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I had an adventurous week. I should say that. Friday, I was getting ready to go to work and realized that I dropped my car key. And I'm like, where did I drop this key at? And I thought I dropped it in my car because my car was locked. I couldn't get a spare. I was looking around my house. I'm just like, where's my car key at? Don't know how it fell off my key or anything. But I knew I knew that I had it in the house because when I locked my car Thursday, I had it with me. So I couldn't find it, and I knew I had to get to work. I knew I was going to be late. So it is like super cold outside, and the train station from me is like 26 minutes. I booked it. I went from my house to the train. to where the city that I work in is like 2 stops from my city. So I was able to get on the train, get off. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a 40-minute walk. So I'm walking. I'm thinking my phone is dead, but I hear my phone going off, and this is my store manager. And I called her. I'm like, I told her that, hey, I'm sorry. I thought my phone died, and I couldn't risk it calling or anything, so I was gonna be late. Um, but eventually I got to work, did all of that. One of the associates, they gave me a ride home, on their way home too. So I was happy about that. They would do that for me. Get in the house, start cleaning, start looking around, and find my key to my car. Just like, thank you, Jesus.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
I went into prayer. I was just so happy. Just happy that I found my car key. But I'm going to give you guys just a heads up. There is an editorial that is coming out um, in a couple of weeks that are kind of want people to read, and then I'll talk about it more on Pow Block after it comes out. But it was a moment that made me like really think about something, and can't wait for you guys to read and everything. Other than that, it's literally been working. um One last thing before we get into Snacktendo. I get to work that Friday, and my store manager shows me a video. She's just like, I want you to watch this and pay attention. And she shows me what happened, and one of our associates crashed into the building. Instead of
Oh,
hitting Yes, instead of hitting stop, somehow they hit the gas button and bam, crash. Now he has like a Pontiac, like he has a really nice car and everything. And I'm like, oh wow. So he ended up leaving early because he said his back was hurting. And when I got to work,
yeah, I bet.
when I actually went to go do the trash Friday night, I see the damage of it, and I'm like, ooh, half of his like front car looked like it has been like crunched in, like another car hit it.
Ooh.
So I was just like, wow, but he's okay. The car is okay and everything. I just did not expect it, and he parks in the same place all the time, and he didn't realize he thinks he thought that he was hitting the brake button. He actually hit the accelerator, and
Was he
just crashed.
drunk? Jeez.
At 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what he was on. I was just like, wow, my mouth was agape. I'm like, ooh, no. But other than that, yeah, I've been doing just like I said, working, playing a lot of Xbox. I did play some Switch. When we get to playing power, we'll talk about that. But man, I've been drowning myself in Xbox and talking about it. Which we're also going to be touching about in news. Trust me, we're going to talk about some of the big news stories that happened last week. But with that, everybody, let's get into Snacktendo. And I'm actually going to start the Snacktendo because Lay's have once again brought out a new potato chip that I knew nothing about. So it's called Layers, and they have two flavors out. They got the three cheeses and sour cream. And what it is that the chip is kind of round with a middle chip in like connected to it, and it's kind of like three layers of a chip, and it's with a flavor thing. It's trying to be like Fritos, but it doesn't have that Frito taste. It's not that salty. It's really light and really crisp. And trying the sour cream and cheese one, I'm like, I know you try to do like a sour cream Lay's chip, but it's not good. Like it just doesn't taste right. The three cheeses one does do. The three cheeses is delicious. Really good. Had a sub sandwich from our local grocery store, and I actually found the the Pringles pizza flavor. They got them back because in our area they took them out. You can't find them nowhere, but I did find it there. But that's
You
pretty
say
much.
Pringles pizza flavor?
Yeah, have you never had
Yes.
that? Dude, that's like one of the best Pringles flavors out.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so good. It's the flavor alone is so good that that's like one of the only chips that I'll lick the flavoring off before eating the chip. It's so
Yeah.
so good.
I gotta
There,
step up my game. I've never heard of that.
Oh, that I love the pizza and I love the cheeseburger flavor one. The cheeseburger one is so
Okay.
good.
Cheeseburger flavor. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, just saying.
You know,
But yeah, okay.
I'm sorry. Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Ed. Go ahead.
Oh no, but that's my snack too though. That's it.
Cool. Well, I'll kick in here. So, Ed, I got to try a new flavor of Reese's. This was a Reese's peanut brittle. Have you seen these?
I haven't.
Yes, I have.
Okay, so if you get a chance to try them, man, they are sickly sweet. Like to the point where after I had eaten it, I ate it. I was like oh man, that was a little too rich for me. A little too rich for me in the Reese's department. And I threw the trash away. I washed my hands, kind of just went about my day. And I was sitting in my bed. And I was like, I can still smell it. And like I would get whiffs of it every now and then. And like,
Okay.
and yeah, like it wasn't from like my breath or anything because I'd done all the getting ready for bedtime, brushing teeth, all that jazz. But I realized it was where I sat so you know how you get 2 cups in the package. I ate the first cup and I sat the second cup on my dresser on my nightstand.
Mm-hmm.
And then went to eat the second cup after I had done that. And like the oils from it had like coated my nightstand where it sat.
Oh,
and
no.
it was like I was almost to the point of vomiting throughout the night. It was so sickly sweet. It was real bad. So I do not.
Aren't you trying to sell your house too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes with a nice Reese's flavor.
It does. A beautiful, really sickly sweet peanut butter brittle Reese's. Yeah.
Yeah, we had it for Christmas season and it disappeared. Everybody in our store liked it.
Oh, dude, I can't stand it. I've never had a Reese's that I don't like until yesterday. Not good.
Oh wow! All right, Dan, what has been your snack today?
So I'm getting married in June, and we are in the cake tasting process. So we got to go to Ariel booked this thing where it's like it's a bakery and they just do like a cake tasting. So you sit down, they give you champagne, and they give you like 8 different flavors of cake. She is gluten-free and she doesn't like cake. So this was all for me, baby. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I'm taking down all of them. And mind you, we have no intentions of buying these cakes. Like,
Yeah.
they're like $900 cakes. And we're just like, yeah, we're going to get a Costco cake in the, and leave it in the back room. So, we're kind of just here drinking champagne and I'm eating all the cake. And, surprisingly, none of them were that great. So I'm glad we're not buying any of their cake. But man, it was a fun experience. So I recommend to anybody. It only costs like $25. No intentions to buy a cake. Go do a cake tasting. Bring a friend. It's a good time.
Just make up reasons like, oh yeah, we're having a bar mitzvah for our 27-year-old friend.
Say you're getting married. Bring your brother. You don't have to prove anything. Like
I guess that's true. Yeah.
No one's gonna question you.
I'll take Grayson when I go to the city. We're like, come on, Grayson.
Exactly.
Let's go get a take testing for
right.
That's not happening.
But see the problem with me then, because I know it's not true. I would literally buy an outfit just to go cake testing. I would literally be like, I need to be beat to the T for the goals. I'm going to do that.
I love that Ed, you would have a cake testing outfit. Like this is the only worn at cake testings.
It's the most on-brand thing you could
for sure.
think of.
I bought outfits to go to the movies. I bought outfits to go Christmas shopping. I have did some outfits for like different events and stuff that I know I'm going to be in. I would literally get an outfit. I almost was going to do an outfit just for a birthday celebration at an arcade.
Was it your birthday?
It was not my birthday,
Oh
it was
my
somebody
god.
else's. But I was literally gonna go out to be like, okay, I need to find a shirt, I need to get the shorts, I do it all. Sometimes I end up buying even new shoes just for that one event to do.
Easy.
Yeah,
I wear the same jeans for everything. I've been to weddings in the same jeans that I wear to work. Like,
uh, well, everybody, that has been our snack today. We're going to get into game fact events, and I got the game fact events. Everybody, this one I kind of keep talking about Project Hammer, and I kind of want to break this down because this stuff is all new to me. Like this, I seen some videos, but I didn't get like this kind of breakdown to it. So, Nintendo Software Technology, a team at Nintendo, began development on Project Hammer (HAMMER). That's the acronym in 2003 for the Wii video game console. The project's eternal codename was Mechanics, and it was designed for Nintendo's Western and hardcore gamer market. Unlike classic Nintendo games, the title was brutal and gritty. The game was officially announced at the 2006 E3. Silver Ant, another studio, produced the game's computer animated cutscenes. The project was revised several times, even though it had almost reached completion. In one incarnation, the project became Wii Crush, with cuter graphics but similar gameplay. A post-mortem from former developers explained that the game's Wii remote motion were never sufficiently enjoyable. The developers blamed the game's failure on the culture and racism of Nintendo Software Technology's senior Japanese leads, who the developers reported as ignoring their input on the cultural interests of the game's Western market. Developers began leaving the team around when the game became the cuter Wii Crush. The developers reported that the senior staff fired Project Hammer's lead designer and did not take personal ownership of the project's faults. Nintendo of America conducted a eternal review that showed the company's lowest morale scores. The project was finally canceled in 2009. That I did not know until I read it, and I'm like, wait, what? Did not even know, because I remember Project Hammer seeing it at EGM and hearing about it at E3, and I knew it never came out, but I thought that they would take the mechanics to use it for some other game. I didn't know that they had these eternal problems within it, because they said people left for creative differences, and now it shows why they end up leaving.
What was the
racism.
name of this game?
Project Hammer.
Project Hammer. I never heard of this.
Yeah. It was going to be like it was kind of their first action style, like almost like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta kind of game. And you had this big hammer, and you would be swinging around to hit the enemies.
Gotcha.
It looked good, but I think the CGI, like the cutscenes and stuff that they used for it, it looked really good. But I think it was just like in development when they announced it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that especially for that generation gaming, like that kind of doesn't surprise me that they were not interested in what the Western market wanted. We've seen take a little bit more of a liking to the Western market these days, but yeah, back then everything for cute. I mean, that's the Wii and the GameCube were arguably like the peak, not for hardcore gamers.
Yeah, I mean, even like the GameCube was bright purple when it came
Yeah,
out, you know?
Yeah. And that was the year of Iwata, and I think he was trying to introduce more developers and everything. And I think he knew that from Nintendo stance that they would produce the family friendly games. Um, but like if other third party wanted to put like M-rated games on there, Iwata had no problem with it, because Platinum Games did Mad World. And that's that black and white violent beat 'em up kind of game, and that's only exclusive on Wii. And so it's monochromatic, but you can see the red stuff, and that's kind of the first game from Platinum Games that was on a Nintendo console. And it was weird that Iwata and Nintendo Japan was just like, yeah, bring it, put it on our platform. And I think that's how Nintendo and Platinum kind of started. Because after that game, of course, that led to Bayonetta 2 coming to Wii U. It's a good history.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But now, everybody, it's time for Faminews. Dan, take it away.
All right. Upcoming games this week on Wednesday, we got Kogan Sword of Rewind. It's a futuristic 2D side scroller. And it has a rewind mechanic on it. So I actually watched a video on it, and it kind of reminds me of like the SNES app or the NES app where you can kind of just rewind and replay. So I don't know, that seems pretty easy. But there is a physical release and a demo available for it. So it's called Kogen, Cogen, Sword of Rewind. Then also on Wednesday, we have Froggy Crossing. It's a basic Frogger game for $2.99, and I'm absolutely getting it for $3.
I see this game and I fell out laughing. Like, what is this?
Oh, yeah. Did you look it up?
Yes, I did.
Oh, it looks terrible. I can't wait to play it. Oh, man. Wednesday, still, Summertime Madness. This is a single-player first-person puzzler where you play the role of a painter who has made a deal with the devil. That one's $14.99. The demo is available right now. Thursday, we have Pandemic Shooter. This looks like a shovelware game. I don't really need to explain what it is. It's $5. Next game is Unforeseen Incidents. It's a point-and-click adventure with some lovely hand-painted 2D graphics. That's $19.99. And the big boy coming out on Friday, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Guys, which ones are you getting?
Pokemon.
Pokemon, and then I might have to check out Kogan. I was looking it up while you were talking. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it does look cool. I'm definitely gonna try the demo, and then I'll bet it. I'm getting Froggy Crossing. That's gonna be a blast.
Yeah. I don't know. Froggy Crossing's a little steep for me. I might have to avoid that one.
Just work overtime. I'm sure.
Yeah. Right.
4 minutes will afford it.
I wouldn't even spend my Nintendo coins on that. No.
So how much have you guys kind of like paid attention to Pokemon Legend Arceus? Have you guys watched like the Nintendo trailers? Have you seen what's been coming out today? We're recording on Monday, by the way, for those listening on Wednesday.
I did not watch the new one because I know they kind of did a breakdown of everything, but after we talked about it last time, the last trailer, I didn't watch anything else because I'm so ready for this game. The hype for this game is like really high. I just at the time this is recording, I pre-ordered my game, so I'm excited to pick it up and talk about it. But I haven't seen the new trailer or anything because I literally want to be surprised. I heard that because Famitsu, they I think they did a review, and there's some people who got the game. They said somehow early copies they got it. Some of the street dates broke. But people are definitely enjoying this game. They said this is a new direction for the Pokemon series. Yeah. And they said it's challenging. So I'm like, oh, really? Okay.
Cool. Jacob, what about you?
So I stopped paying attention to any and all Pokemon RCS news after they announced Voltorb, the new Voltorb, or Electrode, whichever one it is. I think it's Voltorb is the baby one. And I've not seen a single spoiler at all. The most that I've seen is like people talking their thoughts on it and I think it's all been very positive. A lot of people saying, like what Ed said, that it's like a great new direction for Pokemon, best Pokemon ever. Totally like much more excited about Pokemon's future because of this game. So we'll see if this is the new direction or if this is just a one-time spin-off that they're doing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say like anything spoilery because I delved into it a little bit, but it seems like it's just more exploration focused, which is really, really cool. And watching the video, you can either sneak up on a Pokemon or if you fail to sneak it up on them, you battle it, and it's kind of a cool idea to me to just like naturally fill out a Pokedex by like searching in the wild and stuff. And mind you, I'm just not a Pokemon fan. Like I bought Brilliant Diamond, and I just couldn't even stomach it for more than a few hours. I was so bored. And it's just I don't have like an attachment to Pokemon, and this is where I'm like hesitant, because when I first bought Monster Hunter Rise, I had never played any Monster Hunter game or anything like that, right? And the thing about Monster Hunter is like the monsters, like they're so cool, they're so exciting to hunt because of who they are, right? And I don't really have any of that attachment to Pokemon except Bidoof. So it's like I'm not gonna run around catching Bidoofs like all day. you know. So I'm on the fence, and I actually really want to just wait and see like the gameplay loop. But what from what I'm reading, it's like you kind of go to areas like Monster Hunter, but I hear they're like bigger and more exploration focused, and it just seems cool. Like I feel like it's a much needed facelift that they needed. That was a little redundant, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You guys got anything else on Pokemon before we go to the news?
Like I said, I can't wait to catch that new Growlithe, and
Oh, that new Growlithe looks awesome.
Gangrene Growlithe, you mean?
And yeah, and I cannot wait to encounter Snorlax. I want to see how threatening he's going to be in this game, so I could just like bust out and yell and laughter.
The only thing I'm going to say is I'm doing a 24-hour live stream on Saturday after it comes out, twitch.tv/Galatrad, giving away a copy of the game. Come hang out with me.
Awesome. Is it going to be actual 24 hours, or are you going to go and fail and do 31 hours like you did last time?
No, it's going to be 24. I'm not doing any sort of Nuzlocke for this one because I have no idea what the gameplay's like. Yeah, I was like, no. Can't be dying on that one. That was rough. That's a tough thing to do.
All right, let's jump into the news. First one, we got an article from looks like Mad Pharmacist on our Boss Rush page. Stephanie writes about recent Switch Online update improves Ocarina of Time graphics. Since the launch of the expansion pass for Nintendo Switch Online, many fans have struggled with the quality of emulation for their beloved N64 games, notably The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. For example, the visuals in Kokiri Forest and Water Temple appear subpar, with items either missing or not rendering well. So Nintendo did an update. They showed a little bit of the changes that they did. It seems pretty minor. In the Water Temple, the room where you fight Dark Link, you can now see the shadow on the water and stuff, which you kind of need for the fight. We talked about this before with the emulation in Nintendo's N64 Online. So, guys, is this a good move for Nintendo? And do you think they should have ironed this out before releasing it? And is this how do you fix the emulation like that? Jacob, let's start with you.
I definitely think they should have ironed it out before releasing it. It's Nintendo is known for there's that constantly quoted Miyamoto thing about how a bad game is bad forever. I don't remember exactly. But I think this is nothing but a good sign for Nintendo. The fact that they're even bothering to go in and fix it, because frankly, even when it was like just released and quote unquote at its worst, I saw like responses across the board from people. Some people were like, "No, yeah, it runs just fine, exactly how I remember it," and so other people were like, "The when I hit the button to go forward, it takes 3 minutes before Link moves forward," and it's like, I guess it's just based off of experience. I do kind of wonder why it's so different for everybody. I don't think it's not like there are Switch pros and Switch non-pros out there, so it's not like your version of Switch dictates that. But the fact that they even bothered to update it at all is really good.
Yeah, I was in the camp that I didn't really notice a difference or really care that much. So, what about you, Ed?
I think it's a time thing. They probably just didn't have enough time to fix all the bugs. I kind of just feel like, definitely with them all probably still working from home and not actually at Nintendo still at this time, that they probably just couldn't iron things out. So they were just trying to get this thing rolling when the service gets out rolling. And I think they were just like, okay, let's work on the patch, let's get things fixed, and let's make sure that whatever problems that is getting reported that we go in and fix and everything. So they probably was paying attention to a lot of people who were not making complaints, but who were there was a certain pattern that was being shown about certain areas of the game, and Nintendo went in and went to fix it. And I'm glad that they, it took a while for them to get it done, but they at least they went in and quickly fixed it and then just leave it there. Because there are some publishers and developers who have Baldo left their game literally broken and almost unplayable in some states. So. I'm glad that Nintendo was able to go and do this. I won't say that they needed to do a better job or anything, because anything can happen when you're releasing a game. And sometimes it's a time constraint, or sometimes it's a budget thing, and I know that might not apply to Nintendo, but I'm like, they're still working at home, working from home, trying to get this stuff up in Japan. So I would cut them some slack this time. But you know what, Nintendo? You know this now. If Majora's Mask come out and it's a broken mess, we're gonna have talks.
That's funny. Yeah, you know what? They should just hire the guys online that are making fan-made mods, because they do a damn better job than what we saw, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope things are just kind of coming up better, and it is nice to see that they actually listened to their fans. So next story up is by our very own Patrick Knisley at BossRush.net. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask is coming to Switch Online in February. Not much more to say about it. They haven't released a date yet. I'm super, super excited about this game. No date. Guys, what do you think about like the month-long drip that's coming out with these games? Banjo-Kazooie just came out this week. I haven't played it yet. I don't know if you guys have, but I personally don't mind the like month in between every game. I mean, I just finished Paper Mario, so I'm good. Ed, what do you think?
I love this drip because there's, like we've been talking in past episodes, there's too much hot stuff coming out across all three platforms and even on PC. And with Switch like being being the number one and got a lot of games coming out, you might end up missing this game definitely in February. So I love that this slow drip of N64 and Genesis and Nintendo, Super Nintendo games coming out, because it gives us time to, when we're ready for that game, it'll be there and be ready. And just like the Ocarina of Time, if there's something that needs to be patched and we haven't started the game, they could go in and patch it and fix it and everything. So I love this kind of like little bit of a drip fee. We don't pay nothing else until it's time for us to renew the service anyway. So what are we really missing out or anything? So I love this. I'm excited to play Majora's Mask. Now, Nintendo, please have the game out before Horizon Forbidden West, because I have to focus on that game. Because I told Celeste and I told David, like I told you, everybody, that once the game drop, my focus is straight on Majora's Mask until I beat that game.
All right, Ed, we'll race each other on beating it. I'm
Yes!
excited. I'm excited for you to play it.
Yes.
Jacob, you got anything for this one?
Yeah, you said something and it sparked a conspiracy theorist in me. What if it's like not?
Good.
What if it's not good, and so they release it the day? What if they like release it very early in February because they know everyone's going to be busy with Arceus? So they're like, "Yeah, here's Majora's Mask. Okay, bye."
Oh man.
But I'm excited for it. Majora's Mask is definitely up there in my top 5 for Legend of Zelda games, so I'm excited to play it once.
Yeah, I'm super excited to play. I haven't played it since the N64, so it's been a long, long time for me. It's gonna be like playing a new game.
Same.
Next up, again from BossRush.net, Corey Deering, our own boss man himself, writes, "The Cuphead show is coming to Netflix in February." Cuphead was one of the most unique games to grace gamers in the last decade. Its homage to the 1930s animation mixed with incredibly challenging gameplay really created an instantly iconic indie and a must-have for Xbox fans. As its popularity grew, Netflix made a deal. Studio MDHR to create a cartoon based on the classics Cuphead was based off of in the first place. So, Cuphead comes out, it looks like on February 18th of 2022. Is this a show that interests you, and is this a game you played? Go ahead.
I own it on Xbox and I bought it on Switch. When everybody wanted Cuphead to drop on Switch so bad because they thought that at first people thought that it was going to be a game that Microsoft published because it was an indie developer. So people thought that they wouldn't have no chance. But when they started that Nintendo Direct with the man dancing with this old school graphics and showed that Cuphead was coming to Switch, it became the #1 pre-sold game for almost 3 weeks. So it's definitely a great game. It's hard. It's contra like of boss rushing through the whole game. So, but as this for the TV show, I'm definitely watching it. I love Cuphead. I love the graphics of the game, and this cartoon just looks right up my alley. Like I probably gonna just binge watch it when it comes out. It's probably gonna be able, you can finish it within like 4 or 5 hours. I don't know how many episodes they're gonna have, but I cannot wait for it to drop. I'm definitely gonna be watching it. I'm probably gonna have my snacks ready, and if it drops at midnight when it comes out, I'll probably be watching it before I go to bed or something. So yeah, I'm excited for this.
I never played. I did play it. I didn't get into it that much. So this isn't really like something that appeals to me. What about you, Jacob?
I played it. I never beat it because it's very hard, but I definitely want to go back and beat it. 2022's hopefully the time that I do that. I'm very excited for this animation though. Pokemon released I think it was a YouTube short where it was like kind of the similar style, just that old classic animation. And I love that. I think it's very wacky, super super cool, a lot better than some of the anime going on now. That's the old person in me talking, maybe. But but I also really like the fact that, like, how cool is it that this is a game that was based on a cartoon, and now that game has a cartoon that's based on the game that's based on the cartoon in the exact same style. Like, it's come full circle.
Well, it's the cartoon was based off the game, but the game uses that old
Yeah,
Disney style.
Yeah.
Okay.
It reminds me of like the that first Mickey episode. It was like called Tugboat Willie or something.
Steamboat
Yeah.
Willie. Yes, yeah.
What was it called?
Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie
Yes.
Tugboat.
I mean, that's kind of, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm really excited about this. I plan very much to binge watch it as soon as it comes out because I think it'll just be crazy. Plus, like the world of Cuphead, so because it is just very much like a boss rush with a few levels of platforming here and there, the world is so wonderfully created that like it's going to be really exciting, and I hope that the developers of the game have had a lot of input on the story behind this.
Oh, I can't wait to hear the music in the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'll probably end up checking it out, even though, you know, I didn't really care for the game too much. But next story is free Switch Online trials are available to My Nintendo members in North America, 7-day for the price of 0 platinum points. So you can basically just go on and use platinum points to get Nintendo Switch Online. So, you know, that's not much of a story in itself. It's kind of just, you know, Nintendo seems to be kind of doing a little more free things lately, which is kind of cool. You know, they did Captain Toad a couple weeks ago or maybe last week. Yeah, it was really cool to just see all the love for the game that people wouldn't normally play online. And I think this is a cool way to just like get people online and play like the NES and SNES things. I hope to see just more free stuff from them and just kind of engaging people a little bit more with what's available to them. So, not really a news story, but if you guys have anything to say about it, feel free to jump in.
No, yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
I'd like for them. So I know the like pie in the sky is that they do exactly what Xbox and Sony do with their free games every month and discounts on games. But I think realistically, Nintendo doing like deep discounts on their first party titles, if you have Switch Online, is the route that they could take. And I, as somebody who buys all digital, I very much look forward to that. Like I hope that we enter a world where I can get, $20 off a first party title because I have Switch Online. Like that would be so wonderful. And I think that's much more, like I said, much more realistic than if they ever do just a full free game. However, because they've been doing so much more free stuff, I think that they're kind of trending towards that concept, right? Like of maybe it'll be games that all of us already own, so it won't really be any help to us. But like, shout out to all the new people that have got a Switch and now they have a new game to play. Like that'll be so cool.
Yeah.
I think, and I know with a lot of discounts, because sometimes at Target they'll have like take 10 or 20% off a gift card. And I think now because the Nintendo Switch Online is getting bigger, it'll be good to walk into Best Buy or Target and see that, hey, if you want a whole year of Nintendo Switch Online, we got a discount or a percentage going on, a 20% off that you guys could get. And all you got to do is just buy the card. So I could see them doing more advertising and marketing thing for this. So I'll be excited to see.
Yeah. It's just all cool stuff all around. And now our last topic. This one's kind of just gonna segue us right into docked mode. But so Microsoft, I don't even know if this number is real. Microsoft buys Activision Blizzard for $70 billion. Microsoft announced that they will be buying the mega publisher Activision Blizzard for roughly $70 billion. This article is by Corey Dierig on BossRush.net. In the post written by CEO of Xbox Gaming himself, Phil Spencer, he stated that they are incredibly excited to have the chance to work with the amazing, talented, dedicated people across Activision Publishing, Blizzard Entertainment, Beenox Demonware, Digital Legends, High Moon Studios, Infinity Ward King, Major League Gaming, Radical Entertainment, Raven Software, Sledgehammer Games, Toys for Bob, Treyarch, and every team across Activision Blizzard. This means Microsoft will now own franchises like Diablo, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Overwatch, StarCraft, Warcraft, Candy Crush, Pitfall, and of course, the big one, Call of Duty, all of which will be added to Xbox Game Pass upon acquisition. This move will no doubt be controversial, as Activision Blizzard and their CEO, Bobby Kotick, have been accused of allegedly having hostile and discriminatory work environments with sexist and harassment lawsuits by former employees in even the state of California. It has been stated that, at least for now, Kotick will remain the CEO of the company. This was written the day it came out. I feel like more news has come out about Bobby Kotick. But Ed, let's kick it back to you for docked mode.
Okay, so we're kind of going to mix that story and the topic of dock mode together. So I put out with the news of Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard. There's been a lot of talk and hypotheticals on what Sony and Nintendo should do. With Switch going on its 5th year running, it got me thinking: should Nintendo acquire some Western developers for their next console, as Unreal Engine 5 would be the new standards for games and other devs who have their own engine? Should Nintendo prepare itself with the best in the West? You ready, Elite Block agents? Let's go! So let's touch down on the Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard. And I'm just gonna give everybody preface. I was on last week's Nintendo Main podcast with Trey Johnson, who was our guest, one of our guests last week, and we talked about this about Microsoft buying Activision, and I have some of my thoughts there, but I'm gonna share with you guys. For the Nintendo crowd, that day that it happened and everything, we kind of were just silent. I mean, we were shocked by all the news and everything, but became more, the discussion more became about what is Sony going to do, how Microsoft is going to clean up. It became more about how they're gonna handle the company than the games coming to the respectable platforms. To us as Nintendo players, Activision, in my opinion, hasn't really supported Nintendo like they really could have. Yes, we do got some of their games like Spiral and Crash, but all of those games came out late. Diablo. Yes, we do got Diablo 3. We have Diablo 2 remaster, which I think that may be the only game that was on time for anything.
Yeah,
Yes, we
even
do have.
Crash Bandicoot 4 came out like a year later.
Yes. So it's like Activision kind of treated Nintendo as an afterthought and everything. And they haven't made anything from the ground up for Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo and the player base. A lot of us, we look at Activision coming to our platform or our chosen platform on Nintendo. It's just like this is more of an afterthought, and excuse me, we already played better versions of this on other platforms or even PC. So it's kind of, their Activision is kind of late to the party, so it really doesn't affect us. Um, to see what Activision and Microsoft is going to do, we'll see what happens first. I know for us on the Nintendo side, we're just going to sit back and see how that gets handled while we enjoy the games that Nintendo, indies, and other third parties release on the platform. But I'm heading over to you, Dan. What did you think about the story when you heard of it?
I thought initially, does $70 billion exist? That like that number just doesn't seem real to me. You know what I mean? I'm thinking of like just an ROI on it. It's like, how are you making that kind of money back? But Microsoft just has so much money. Uh, Man, I don't even know what to think, because I'm not really like Team Xbox. I'm not Team Sony. So it just doesn't really affect me in any way, shape, or form. I'm just like, holy shit, that's a lot of money. And it's going to be kind of just like interesting to see Crash Bandicoot changing sides. Like now Xbox all of a sudden goes from having no mascots to like Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot. So now they have, even Banjo Kazooie. It's like they have all these mascot characters, which is kind of funny to me.
And just to let people know, Crash has been on Xbox before,
but now he's exclusively.
well, now it's under the hands of Microsoft. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's interesting. I don't know if this is good for gaming and consoles and everything like that. It'll be interesting to me to see if Call of Duty is now an Xbox exclusive, because I have, outside of you guys, like all of my friends, every single one of them, they literally only play Madden, NBA 2K, and Call of Duty on their PlayStations, not their Xboxes, their PlayStations. So I'm interested to see what happens with those people if Call of Duty goes straight to Xbox. So that'll be interesting to me.
All right. What about you, Jacob? How did you feel when you heard the news?
Initially disappointed because of the fact that nothing was being done about the workplace as part of this deal. Like it wasn't like hey, we bought y'all, get out. Like that. And I know there's a lot of politics that go on in that regards, but like that initially was really disappointing.
Just sorry, just real quick. All the time when there's an acquisition, you can't make any announcements on what you're going to do in the no touch period. So you have a year leeway with this new period. So like they literally can't say anything about, what they're going to change. They have to observe for like a full year on these kind of things.
Right. Yeah. I think they were just like some of the CEOs or someone has to approve everything. There's got to be some kind of approval before the contract.
Right. It's like an observation thing. And like we've already seen that Bobby Kotick is going to be out in 2023, which means that's when the year is up. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no.
No, yeah, I just it's one of those things. Again, like that's why I know that there are politics behind this. it, or just business practices, I guess. But like, I wish that there wasn't. I wish that we didn't live that sort of very. But the other part of it was like, I had a thought that maybe, so big companies like this getting bought up by other big companies is never good for the consumer. Smaller companies, you know, you can have second parties and things like that, but big companies like this is never good for the consumer. And I had a thought that maybe it could be if Microsoft decides, because their whole thing is to get the Xbox service everywhere, right? Like they've been championing that for a while now. And I started to wonder if maybe they're just gearing up to have all of these studios directly under them so that they can put funds where needed. And we could see a future where Microsoft takes like a Sega route and just makes games and then assists in hardware and online. Like, what if the tweet that I put out was like, imagine a world where Nintendo says, here's our new system online powered by Microsoft. Like, you know, and Sony, same thing. Here's our new system online powered by Microsoft. Guess what? You're all consoles are now backed by or supported by the company that has the quoted most powerful console in the market. You know, like they have deep pockets, and I could see them still being successful and just kind of not so much giving up on Xbox, but like letting Xbox run its life and then taking part and as like a third party sort of.
I see. I can see that. I think the one thing that I seen it as this. So when they brought ZeniMax, I think that was a power move. When they bought Activision, that was a business move because of probably what was going on. It 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 kind of got me thinking. And the reason why I made this stock roll was because while I was talking to Trey and his crew, I mentioned that it's weird that they're buying all of these Western developers because Microsoft is like really known better in the West than in the East, in Japan and Asia. You know, they really just by the looks of it, and I'm just an outside looking in, it looks like there's not much ground that Microsoft has in Asia, anything. So Activision, Blizzard, maybe World of Warcraft might appeal to them. But the problem is, definitely here in America, Final Fantasy 14 has been kicking the tail out of World of Warcraft. There's been more talk and sales of Final Fantasy 14, and that game got remade to what it was.
So bad when it
was
came
so
out.
Yes.
And now
so,
it's amazing.
Right. And so as much as this is, as you know, people are shocked by about it, um yes, I could see that happening, Jacob, that they do take a Sega route and kind of, well, in a way they're kind of doing it now. They are doing a Sega route and but still being first party, because you got to realize Microsoft is a hardware slash software PC company where they make PC hardware, they make software. One of the world, you know, their OS is kind of probably, I would probably say maybe in 65% homes over Apple. And it depends on what region of America, Europe, Australia, Canada, and Japan that you are in, that you're seeing Windows being used and everything. So they, and you know, and we love kind of Microsoft because they allow some of those indie games to be on Switch. They put Minecraft Dungeons on Switch so they could still be a publisher for a first party for their company, but also, you know, release games on other platforms. Activision, I mean, this deal, Microsoft is not going to be stupid. They know they're going to make that money by putting that game on Call of Duty on PlayStation, because that, to them, you are our extra bank account while we got our subscribers from Game Pass and everything. So we're going to be collecting, we're going to be getting those checks and those coins because uh of the PlayStation brand. Now what's going to happen is there's not going to be no exclusive stuff, unless that if you want the exclusive things for Call of Duty, it'll come to PlayStation late, but you get it on Game Pass first. That might be the only thing. Everything else, you got to. I was asking somebody on Twitter. I was just like, what if Call of Duty got stopped using the developer stopped using their engines? It wasn't an annual game, and used Halo Infinite's engine to make the next Call of Duty. Give them time to learn it and put it out. Because right now, you kind of got three engines for three of the biggest games. You got Halo Infinite, you got Call of Duty, and you got Doom. And if you want to throw in Wolfenstein, that'll make four. You got some well-known first-party shooters that has made these companies millions of dollars in sales. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. For me personally, I feel like it's going to play out well for the West and maybe the UK, but I don't know if it's going to do anything for the East, because right now you're buying these Western companies, but if you're not moving product in Japan, Nintendo is going to be like, well, we still could get with our Eastern developers and put something out. Now, to answer the Docomo question, I'm gonna start with you, Jacob. Should Nintendo acquire some Western developers? The only Western developer that I actually know that they acquired was Retro Studios.
Yeah, they're located where I am. No, I don't think they should. I don't think they need to. Um, I think that they have started the path of building up a relationship with Western developers now. That if they continue down that path, it'll be good for them. And I just don't see, similar to like I don't think that Microsoft should ever buy any Japanese studios, any studios, because it they're just not there. No one's buying an Xbox over there, and one game, two games, however many games is not going to make people suddenly switch sides. Like that would be such a long process that it's easier to just focus on what they have, because it's not like they're losing money in that area. You know? So yeah, and same for Nintendo. Is like it's not like there's a lot of Nintendo games that all of Nintendo fans are just like, you know what, I'm going to avoid that. It's not for me, because it's not Western enough. So I just think that they can just keep building relationships rather than big financial.
What about you, Dan?
So, no. Okay. So Nintendo's market cap is, sorry, I just wrote down these numbers and moved away from them.
It's like 68 billion.
It's 58. It's 55.14 billion.
Oh, I thought it was 68. Right? I thought this someone must have reported it wrong then. Okay.
This is of January 2022. So
okay.
Yeah, it's 55.14 billion for January 24th, 2022. Sony's market cap is 139.85 billion. Microsoft's market cap is $2.179 trillion. Also a non-existent number that shouldn't even exist. So realistically, if you're looking at these numbers that are going around, even who was just acquired, someone was just acquired for like 11 billion the week before this happened. It was the all-time record.
So Take-Two acquired Zynga.
Yes, Zynga, of like Farmville and Words of Friends. Yeah, so that's worth 11 billion all of a sudden. Yeah, so it's like what is actually worth it in acquiring for Nintendo if you have to spend what, 1/4 of your market cap to get some sort of good Western publisher? I mean, Nintendo's never really into this big hardware. They're not into anything like that. Like acquiring a studio like Grezzo and giving them financial support makes way more sense for a Nintendo acquisition than anything else in the Western market at the moment. So no, don't go out and just buy something because Microsoft is. And this also goes to prove that Nintendo doesn't have competition right now, right? Sony and Microsoft are butting heads. They have competition with each other. Nintendo, they're their own jam. They're just doing their own thing. They're kicking back while everybody else is fighting. So like, no, Nintendo, sit, do your thing, keep setting keep selling these Switches because you're gonna beat the Wii soon. None of it makes sense to me. So what do you think, Ed? You seem to have some hotter takes than usual.
So I think I agree with you guys both. They shouldn't, but I think for their next console, when they get ready, whatever that may be, they may be thinking of, we want to make sure that we do have the best. Um, so they probably will team. I think they're going to team up with some Western developers because, like right now, like Jacob, you mentioned they're starting to do it. Look at Way Forward. They partnered up with Way Forward to make that one game out that Beyblade game, I believe. And whatever you take that as, you take it as that. But they teaming up with Way For It again to make a Vest Wars 1 and 2 reboot. And it's always worked for them when Nintendo has teamed up with these developers to make games for their platform exclusively, because we know that there's going to be some good quality that comes out of it. I agree with you, Dan. They don't need to acquire them because Nintendo doesn't need the best of the West. A lot of the best stuff that comes from the West is still struggling. Look at, not to knock EA or anything, but look at Battlefield 2042. They hyped that game up to be this big 100 players and wind effects, and that game is struggling on consoles and PC. And
the thing is, EA has shot themselves in the foot over and over and over the last 10 years.
Yeah,
it's no surprise.
Yeah, but I think like EA is kind of one of the biggest companies along with Activision, that and Ubisoft. Well, not Ubisoft. Well known right here in the West, in America, and everything. And I think Nintendo's just like, we're not in for having the prettiest graphics, the best cutscenes, or have the edgiest of technologies. Because the thing about it is, you can have all of that and still have problems in an unsatisfactory game. You could sell millions, but then half of those millions are GameStop as trade-ins. We want to make games that kind of reflect our work and make sure that you enjoy and have classics. And they want to make their stuff more memorable because yes, here at Boss Rush, we do have a lot of Nintendo games, but we also got PC, Xbox, and Sony players too. And most of the conversations that we do have a lot, is around Nintendo, more of Nintendo than it is about Microsoft or anything. Like, when have we actually had a big discussion before this acquisition about Xbox games? What have we been able, as a community, I should say, that we have had it? We still talk a lot about Nintendo and past Nintendo games. So I think Nintendo doesn't need to acquire. I think what they're satisfying working with Japanese developers, and hopefully they continue to reach out and work with more well-known Western developers. Go work with Yacht Club. Go work go work out with like Way Forward, or find some indie kind of game. Go work out with some of these indie developers and like help them make some of your games, because then that's going to push their recognition up to being a bigger third party developer here in the West. We keep talking about how much we want to see Wind Waker HD or Wind Waker game done in the West, and there's some developers who have put out some hot indie games that can do it.
Yeah, and I think that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, where I think any acquisition that they make should go towards supporting an indie developer versus making money off of what a developer already does. You know what I mean? I just don't. I just don't see it. Like, there's, there's just like the company that they just went bankrupt, like Mario and Luigi games. Like, I would have liked to see them get acquired. Or I know they just acquired the company that made the Punch-Out games. Which one was that?
Level 5? No.
Was it?
No.
Yeah.
I think Alpha Dreams
Alpha
did
Dream,
the Mario games.
Yeah, Alpha Dream did Mario. Was it Level 5 that did Punch-Out?
I think it was Level 5. They just acquired them, what, a year ago?
No, Level 5 went is still around, but Nintendo never acquired them. What happened with Level 5 is they stopped putting games out for the Western market.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, maybe I'm just forgetting. But yeah, I don't know. I just want to see more of like support for a developer through acquisition rather than just doing it to Next Level was the name of the
Yes, yeah.
developer.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Next
it.
Level. There you go.
Yes. I think that's the one they acquired. Yes.
Yeah, so Next Level, like I want to see more places like that just get acquired. You know, people that have 70 people in their studios making something versus, you know, Activision-Blizzard. They don't need it. Nintendo just marches to the beat of their own drum.
Yeah. What about you, Jacob?
I'm sorry. What was the what was the question?
Should Nintendo acquire any Western developers for their next console?
For their next console? No. Like I stand in the same spot for my original statement, which was that they shouldn't. That they should just focus on the relationships that they've already been building. I did want to kind of double back though, because I wanted to know I wanted to know if y'all are in the camp that Microsoft will not make the Activision Blizzard games first party exclusives after their like time and contracts are up, or if they will go the Minecraft route and continue to allow other consoles to have them. Because I personally am part of the camp of like, you don't spend $70 billion to not say, hey, Call of Duty only on.
Yeah, I'm with you 110%. Like, what's the point of acquiring them if you're not gonna sell your consoles with them?
So this is the thing, player base. You would literally end up cutting your player base down if you make it exclusive.
No,
But
no, you don't. No, you don't. You gain players.
Yeah,
This is what you do.
I'm just saying I'm just talking about Call of Duty.
Yeah.
With Call of Duty,
I am too.
you're going to cut your player base because there are some people. There are some people that's not going to switch over.
Nope.
I'm
cutting you off.
saying-
I'm cutting you off. No, because Call of Duty is already on Xbox, right?
Yes.
And if you make it exclusive, you're going to have only more people join from PlayStation to play on Xbox because they can't play it anywhere else. They can only play it on their PC or their Xbox. This is not cutting their player base. It's only gaining it.
For console reasons, it's going to cut their player base because there are some people that I'm just saying Dan, that there are some people who are diehard Sony fans, and I don't know who they are, but they're not going to switch their platform just to play this one game. You got to even with Crash Bandicoot, you got to see that game barely did anything in America, but it did a lot in UK.
You are underestimating how many people only play Call of Duty and a sports game. Like those are the two. Like almost every person I'm friends with only plays these two games, and I guarantee you all of them make the jump, every single one of them, because they don't care about the console. Like you're no.
But for how many copies that they sell, that they sell digital or physical. I'm not talking about Game Pass subscribers. I'm not talking about anything about that. I'm just saying that for all the people who have been diehard Sony fans who don't feel like they get the good enough experience on the Xbox brand, they're going to be like, okay, we don't get it. Okay, what will happen is, if Sony comes out with a game that could replace Call of Duty, though, they're going to go there before they jump ship. They're going to find, trust me, they're going to find a way. There's going to be a first party game that comes out that literally replaces it. Trust me. If Battlefield gets up to a top-notch online game, the Sony fans are going to go there, and Call of Duty is going to just be whatever on PC and Xbox.
Hold on. We're in an era where people aren't being able to pick up PlayStations. They're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's in this era where nobody's able to pick up PlayStations. If you can readily available get an Xbox, which they seem much easier to get, they're going to jump ship. And not only that, there are a lot of people that have both systems, Xbox and PlayStation, of
Yeah.
course they're going to just get it for Xbox instead of PlayStation when they would have maybe gotten it for PlayStation. Like
Right,
there's
and
no chance, no shot in hell that they lose any player base if they make it an Xbox exclusive. And even if they only gain 15% of that player base, that is more money in Xbox pockets. And there's also people that have it for PC or people that have PlayStation and PC, so they just get it for their PC. You know,
right.
these
So,
are things to take into consideration. There's 0% chance it
but
cuts their player base or limits them.
it would be interesting to see the diehard Sony fans who only played Call of Duty on PlayStation to see them switch to PC. I would love to see when that actually happens. If they make Call of Duty exclusive, I would love to see how much of the PC player base jumps from Sony, because like I said, there's just going to be some people who are not. I think I'm speaking more of when the systems become more available with Series X, S, PlayStation 5. When it becomes more available, like it's a regular thing. Um, I want to see how the numbers jump, because what's going to happen is that Microsoft is not going to report on sales for Call of Duty. They're going to report on the players that they acquire of people playing the game, and that's going to be mostly due to Game Pass, which
They'll
is great for
report
them.
on the sales of Call of Duty. What are you talking about?
Microsoft, right? Microsoft doesn't report on sales for their console. They report on how many players are on for that game. They don't because when Halo Infinite came out, they anytime a game comes out on Game Pass from Microsoft, they report more on about the people that they play on them, that's playing that game through Game Pass, than they are doing sale numbers. So what's going to end up happening is, if there is a big jump spike in Call of Duty being exclusive on Xbox, they're going to report on the numbers of people who are playing it, then they are going to be reporting on sales. And because Activision has always reported on sales about Call of Duty.
Okay, so Jacob, you got anything on this?
Yeah, the amount of people that play Call of Duty on Sony because they are Sony fans does not outweigh the amount of people that buy Call of Duty like to play Call of Duty only. And so if it goes exclusive, they'll lose some people, but it'll be the equivalent of that. Like Monster Hunter World wasn't on a Nintendo console. I still don't own that console, the consoles that it was on. Like I still very much am a Nintendo fanboy. I just waited. So like there are people like me that won't jump ship, but I guarantee you the amount of people that will jump ship is much more. And I very much think that it will become an exclusive, because the only other option that I think that they can make money off of it is to say, hey, you need an Xbox account. And Sony is not. Sony, like, okay, think about Minecraft, which far outsells Call of Duty still, and it's just one game. Sony originally fought back against that when they said, hey, to play Minecraft, you have to have an Xbox account. And Sony was like, no, you can't. And then they ended up giving in because Minecraft is that powerful, and they just lost Call of Duty now too. So like
if it goes exclusive, I should say.
Yeah, and I don't think it won't. I think it very much will go exclusive. I think at the moment these contracts are done, E3, whatever year that is, you're gonna hear, hey, guess what? Call of Duty on Xbox. That's it. And PC, but like Microsoft, it is a Microsoft game. They said, and it's the exact, like, look at the wording. It's very specific wording in the interviews with Phil Spencer about that. But he doesn't say it will never go exclusive. He says it will stay on other systems per the contract. Like we're not gonna break the contract, but as soon as that contract is gone, it's gone. Because they did the exact same thing with Elder Scrolls.
And I think that's why if Call of Duty is not annual, if they slow it down and everything, I could understand it being more exclusive on on Microsoft platforms, because that gives them time to learn Xbox a little bit more, be able to put in more quality work into it and everything, and then just be like, okay, it's ready to go and everything. Because Halo Infinite got delayed with when they had their problems. Doom Eternal got delayed when it had its problems before Microsoft brought them. So if they're gonna do Call of Duty and they're gonna make it exclusive, Microsoft is gonna make sure that that game is gonna be top notch. That if they need to delay it, they're going to delay it, and everything. Uh, so I think we'll see what happens. I just want to see what the Sony fan base will do, diehard fan base. Not speaking to all of the Sony players in that community, I want to see what the diehards would do that play Call of Duty on it. Are they going to switch to PC to play it, or are they going to get a Series S or X just to play that game? Because once again, I feel like that's cutting their player base if they do that. I'm just saying that the sales numbers with Microsoft not reporting on sales for their games, but only players, that's going to be the concerning factor. Yes, you can have 15 million players on the thing, but that doesn't say 15 million sales of digital and physical copies.
So let me ask you this question, Ed. Whose player base is getting cut?
Sony's player base is getting cut.
So why does Microsoft care that Sony's player base is getting cut?
Because Call of Duty, they sell on multiple between those two and maybe PC. I don't know how the PC sales do. When Activision reports the sales of those games, they do a total number between PlayStation and Microsoft. PlayStation is just the leading company that says it. So if they did 45 million sales of Call of Duty, a Call of Duty game, that's between all three platforms. That 45 may literally go down to only 15 million or 7 million.
No chance. No chance.
So, okay, first of all, it's not going to drop that low. Second of all, why you think they care about the number of players they report over the money they gross from their new players? Like, that doesn't make sense.
When I think because only reason why I say that is because when we report stories for Nintendo and we report number sales, we talk about Mario Kart and Animal Crossing hitting 30 million. That's one console. A lot of these third party consoles, I mean the third party consoles, a lot of these third party games that come out from Microsoft and for Sony, they report on all the total sales across three platforms. They never report on. There has never been a third party console, a third party game that has been exclusive to Microsoft that they have reported on that have did about 30 million sales for that one game.
But okay,
I've never seen it.
But okay, the average person, when they go out to buy a console, they ask their buddies, hey, what console are you getting? What console are you getting? Are we going to get this or are we going to get this? Which one are you picking up? And so if Microsoft comes out and says, Call of Duty, only on Xbox, all those buddies that play Call of Duty, oh man, we're getting Xbox. So now everyone's getting Xbox. And so they've gained console sales and they're still going to get the game sale.
They'll get the console, but they'll just go ahead and get Game Pass. Now that the Game Pass thing is going to make Microsoft. That's where the money's going to come from. But reporting on sales of a game, Microsoft doesn't do that no more. They report on the players that's playing their playing.
Well, yeah, game. But so if they're driving more people to buy Game Pass, then they're still making more money than if they let somebody else buy the game.
Which is fine. But I'm thinking that instead of that. Getting Game Pass and physical and digital sales, it's going to make some good money, good revenue for Microsoft. If you were able to get that, if Microsoft was able to get that from a business standpoint, why would you cut off straight on sale number revenue profits coming in, then just your Game Pass subscriptions? That's why I use the example of that. When Activision Activision reports on sales or whatever, I'm just using 45 million copies as an example across three platforms. if you besides PC, because I don't know how, like I said, I don't know that number, but if they went for it, just use an example of that's why I said 45 million sales to 7 million players or 15 million players or anything, because we don't know what the sale numbers is going to be on Xbox and Windows Meet and Windows. We don't know if they're going to put that on Steam or Epic Games. Don't know what they're going to do for the PC market with that after this acquisition, and if they go exclusive and everything. I'm just saying that, seeing it from that perspective, you're cutting a fan base, because if you don't support the Sony community with this game or with that series and stuff, you're missing out on a lot of money that from PlayStation that you could get full profit, full revenue, is what I'm saying. They're just getting subscription money every month. It's just what I'm saying, and that's why I use Nintendo. Using Nintendo, that when we report on Nintendo and everything, if they're doing million sales, we report on their physical and digital sales, and most of that stuff for Nintendo are physical sales. And Microsoft doesn't do any of that. So what does a 50 million player base really mean for Microsoft for a Call of Duty game?
You're out of your element, Ed. You're out of your element.
It's a hot take from me. I'm known for hot takes.
My computer's overheating. It's ridiculous.
But I'm just like, that's why I said, if that happens, I want to see how that number affects. Because the thing about it is, I would say this: go back and look at some of the stories that Activision has reported about sales for Call of Duty, bookmark them, put them on hold, and then let's see what happens when that game goes exclusive to Microsoft in this Game Pass and maybe physical digital for whatever reason. I don't know how, like I said, I don't know PC, or if they're gonna do Windows and Steam. I don't know how all that's gonna play out, or in Epic Games. I don't know how that's all gonna play out until it goes live, until it actually happens. And if there's a difference between sales and subscribers, that would literally explain what I'm trying to express. I'm sorry. But any last words? Jacob, Dan, I love you guys. Community, I love you. I know I'm doing a hot take, but I'm outside and in.
It's not even a hot take. I'm just trying to figure out the mental gymnastics that you're doing, man, because I just can't see a way where they cut any profit of it at all.
It's objectively wrong. it just is. There's no possible way.
I see in I understand how in theoreticals what you're saying makes sense, but how that would ever translate to a real life situation just doesn't make sense.
And that's why I said, when it happens, I would like to see. That's why I said bookmark some of the stories from the Activision side of reporting sale numbers, and then let's compare it to what would happen, or what happens when they make it Xbox or Microsoft exclusive, when it's not on any of Sony's platforms, that you only could choose PC and maybe Windows 10, maybe it don't drop on Steam or Epic Games. Don't know about that, but let's see how it does on Xbox. Not so much, like I said, not so much sale numbers. It's going to be more Game Pass numbers, because everybody's going to play it on Game Pass. And if they get I don't know what service they're going to subscribe. They're going to do the Ultimate or original, but what I would love to see how that goes and everything. Well, because then to them, for a lot of the people who are going to play Call of Duty, now this is a true game service that's going to happen with Call of Duty, because they could just drop the multiplayer mode for free. They literally could drop the multiplayer mode for free, like they did Halo Infinite. But if you want the full experience, like with cosmetics, the campaign, and all of that stuff, if people who do care about that, cutting it from Sony is going to be worrisome. But I would love to see how that plays out compared to it being on Game Pass and the physical digital sales on Xbox.
Listen, I'm just excited for in 2024 when Microsoft announced that Call of Duty is bro.
Hey, I said, I would love to have a Call of Duty on Switch that is completely different than what that series is known for. I think Microsoft I think Microsoft and maybe Infinity Ward or Treyarch can build something up fresh and original that feels literally different for Nintendo players, and they would see the profits from the sales because they'll be like, oh, this looks good, plays good. They went with a different style. Maybe I will give them $60 to give this game a try. It happened with The Witcher 3, and that did numbers. And you know how The Witcher 3 don't look all that great. But people went in, purchased the game, and beat The Witcher 3 on Switch than any other platform. I'm just saying. So, any last words?
No. Good.
No, I mean, no last words for me. I think if we just kind of bring it back to Nintendo, I think this just isn't their market. It proves that they're not in competition with anybody right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense. Nintendo just knows what they do well, and they're going to continue to do it.
Right, and they're going to try to innovate. They're a company that likes to innovate and make games for their platform. And if there's not going to be no wrestling companies who's going to be doing that, Nintendo's fine. They'll be like, we'll give you some development money, just make us an exclusive game. Platinum, Bandai Namco, Kobe Tecmo, we got some deals with you.
Yeah.
You too, Mercury Steam, come on over here. Well, everybody, that has been our Dog Mo. That was a hot and spicy take on that one. Let's get into playing with power. Dan, what have you been playing with power?
So I've had this like new game fatigue, right? Like I just been playing so many new games and indies and stuff like that I kind of wanted to just go back to some games that I've played before. So I was kind of like scrolling through my backlog, and one of my favorite games is Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yes.
It actually might be my favorite game on Switch. But I never beat the DLC Torna.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I have it. So I ended up just going back into it, and I only played like 20 minutes into the DLC, but I've been playing it, and oh my god, it's amazing. Like this is what a DLC should be, right? Like it's basically its own game in itself. It has its own characters, its own story. It takes place 500 years prior to what Xenoblade 2 was. So it even like changes the battle system. It has new music. It has new areas. Like it feels like, it's an entirely new game, but it still very much feels like you're playing Xenoblade 2, which in my opinion makes that the perfect DLC. I'm probably about 15 hours into it, and it is like unreal. I love the battle system in it. It's not as convoluted as Xenoblade 2's was, even though I loved that one. It's a little easier to pick up, which they needed to do for a DLC, which is a shorter game. So that has been just incredible, and I think when I finish that, I'm going to probably just play through Xenoblade 2 again on the New Game Plus.
Yes.
Yeah, which it's awesome. It's awesome. Did you end up beating it, Ed, or was it too much?
No, I'm about to go and revisit it and finish it up. Just so much I've been playing, but I've been working at Xenoblade and Xenoblade 2,
Nice.
like balance them out. And I think I'm just gonna like literally sit down. Can't wait till I finally get a vacation. Literally sit down, not really go nowhere, and focus on those two games because they're just so good. Like Xenoblade 2 is really good.
And I was making a beast.
Yeah, I was making progress, but I was getting my tail beat. So it's like, okay. And then
once that battle system clicks, like it's such an easier game, and it's so satisfying just demolishing bosses.
Yes. And then Xenoblade Chronicles, I'm gonna sit down and just be like, okay, I need to focus on this. No other game comes out, no shiny game, and he focus on Xenoblade. So yeah, I'll be returning those soon.
Yeah. So I just been playing Torna. I've been playing Picross S7, which came out a couple weeks ago. I'm cruising through that. I've finished Picross S1, 2, 3, 4. I still need to pick up 5, and I finished 6. And that's it. Those are the only 2 games for me.
All right, Jacob, what have you been playing with power?
Yeah, so 2022 is all about busting my backlog this year. I'm focusing on completing games 100% so that I can just like cross them off my list and not have to play them ever again, unless I just want to go back and play them. Um, so I've been slowly working through Mario Kart, getting all of the gold stuff because I lost my save file. So getting all the gold trophies, beating all the time trials, getting all the coins, that sort of thing.
Nice.
I've 100%ed the messenger. I think I mentioned that last week. Um, but now, rather than go on to something that I should be playing, I started Shin Megami Tensei 5. So
Yes.
that'll be the game. I like to because I stream all the time. I like to have a game that I play like just for me. That's what the Messenger was. And so Shin Megami Tensei 5 is going to be that. I'm not going to play it on stream at all. It's just going to be for my enjoyment. So I'm looking forward to hundreds of hours.
How far into it are you so far?
So I literally I just beat the first like combat thing. I started it during like right after work before I left work.
Oh, like the first exploration area you're in?
Yeah. Like I just started it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
All right. For me, so I played this game on Xbox, but it is coming to by the time you guys see this video, it'll be out on Nintendo Switch and other platforms, everything. But I beating record of Lotus War, Deed Light, Deed Lit in Wonder Labyrinth. And it's a lot to take in. It's a Metroidvania game, really styled after Symphony of the Night, and I just beat it. Hopefully you guys can be able to check out my review on Buswitch Games. Really good game. It's kind of short though. It's $8. If you own Xbox, it is on Game Pass at this time. But it does come out for every other platform on Tuesday. But by the time you guys see this, it's out. I really did enjoy myself. Not too hard. It is based off an anime, Record of Lotus War. So if you have not watched the anime, you may not get who the characters are in the game, because a lot of the characters and bosses that you fight are from the anime. Um, it does a nice kind of polarity system. So if anyone who knows what that is, if you play Ikaruga, you could be one color and the opposite color is weak against it, or is strong against your color and destroy you or hurt you. So if you're in this one, they do blue to represent wind, and they do red to represent fire. So blue fighting against red and vice versa is what it is. But if you do blue versus blue, it guards, and if you do red versus red, it guards and everything. So you got to figure out which decision is best. You'll go up levels in that department, and also go up like actual levels, like you're playing a role playing game. Like I said, it really is kind of like Symphony of the Night. It has a shop and stuff. So hopefully you guys will check out my review about it. But it is going to be on Nintendo Switch, and I do recommend. It's a really good game if you're into Metroidvanias. And also playing Nobody Saves the World on Xbox. Hopefully that game comes to Switch also, because this is by Drinkbox, the company who made Guacamelee. Some of their games is on Nintendo Switch. I think Sever is on it, and Guacamelee 1 and 2 is on Switch. But for actual Nintendo games, been playing, of course, the Streets of Rage 4 on my break at lunch. About to start Neo, The World Ends With You, and getting ready to literally put in Monster Hunter Rise, because I got to get ready for the DLC. I am then going to start in Bravely Default 2 and Monster Hunter Stories 2. Continue on that.
That sounds like you got a lot on your plate if you're playing all that.
I do, because like literally I got to get stuff done outside of Horizon Forbidden West. I got to get stuff done before Chocobo Racing and Triangle Strategy. Triangle Strategy is going to take me a long time, and I'm just like, I got to have this game good and ready to go before I hit Kirby. And then whatever they decide to release Advance Wars, please do it in April. Nintendo, I'll be fine. Give me some damn months so I can be playing all of these JRPGs because there is a lot to play. And playing Crisis Tales also on Switch, getting further into that. Really enjoying that game also. But that's what I've been playing with Power. And everybody, that has been it for Nintendo Pow Block. Dan, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at DCDM99, and you can find all of our wonderful articles that we had in the news section on www.bossrush.net.
Yes. Jacob, where can we find you?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at Galutrad, Galutrad.
You guys can find me on Twitter at ThatBreadCode, and come check out our Patreon on bossrush.net. You can find out more information about that and find out what tier is suitable for you. With that, you'll get early content, some extra shows and events, and we have a lot of extra good content that is dropping. You'll get some shows 2 weeks in advance before it appears on our YouTube channel. With that, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Play some games, no matter what platform that you are playing on, whether it's Xbox, Nintendo, Switch. Check up on your friends and everything, and just embrace all the greatness that is coming around. We do want to let you guys know that we are planning for Pokemon Legends Arceus for our next show. So hopefully you guys will enjoy our 2 special guests who are going to be joining that episode. With that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Nintendo Pow Block. Bye, everybody. Woo-hoo!
Bye.